Hey, if it makes you feel good to cosplay as revolutionaries, knock yourself out, burn yourself out. Just don't drag Gaza into it. Also, throwing stuff on paintings is just stupid.
Bill Maher recently torched what he calls the woke mob for criticizing America while still benefiting from it. He argued that some activists condemn the country at every opportunity yet show no desire to leave it. Maher framed this as hypocrisy, delivering biting critiques mixed with sharp, laugh-out-loud humor.
Tell the people who block traffic in the name of a cause, no one likes you. And you're probably hurting your cause. In case you haven't seen what's going on lately, activists for ending the war in Gaza have taken to gathering on roads and bridges and stopping commuters from crossing. It happened last week in New York and San Francisco, Chicago, Seattle. They also blocked traffic here on the 405, but no one knows.
Maher kicked things off by calling out activists who block roads in the name of moral authority. He questioned the logic of disrupting entire cities because others don't share the same views. Why should everyday commuters, parents picking up their kids, workers heading to shifts, or students going to class be punished for political decisions made in Washington? Maher described it as misplaced anger, more theatrical than effective, and used unapologetic humor to drive the point home.
Notice was this, that you have to be pretty dumb to think that the way to bring people around to your point of view is to make them late to pick up their kids from daycare. And that's what most normies are thinking. I have a kid. I have a job, and yes, I'm sure there are injustices on both sides in the Middle East, as there are injustices all over the world, but I'm going to be late for work, something you protesters on the bridge seem to have the luxury of not having to worry about, which seems kind of privilegey.
He then made another pointed observation. Most Americans are focused on their own daily lives. That doesn't mean they don't care about global issues. It means they're juggling jobs, bills, families, and responsibilities. For many people, the immediate concern isn't trending hashtags. It's putting gas in the car and food on the table. Blocking roads, Maher suggested, often hurts the very people activists claim to represent. In his view, punishing working families isn't activism. It's counterproductive.
Your hands to the street, because your hands don't have to do any work today. I'm not saying there aren't sincere passions about Gaza, especially among people from the region, but social justice warriors, for a lot of them it seems like it's more about the warrioring than about whatever the cause is. If you really cared about apartheid so much, which Israel does not actually practice, Arabs there vote, they serve in parliament, they sit on the judiciary, wouldn't you start with this? With the hundreds of millions of women in the world who live under a true apartheid, a gender apartheid of the most brutal kind? I'll wait.
Maher also criticized what he sees as selective outrage. He argued that some protests focus heavily on certain international causes while remaining silent on other serious human rights issues. He pointed to the contrast between public demonstrations in America and the lack of comparable activism regarding restrictions faced by women in parts of the Middle East. His broader argument wasn't about dismissing any cause, but about consistency, questioning why some issues generate massive protests while others receive far less.
Speaking truth to power, or do you just think you look cool in a keffiyeh? Which is really just the new Che Guevara t-shirt. Another historical figure you never researched and so think is a hero, but was actually a sadistic, racist monster fighting for communism, the worst form of government ever. But these are small matters.
Another point Maher raised was about symbolism. He argued that many activists rally behind slogans, figures, or imagery without fully understanding their historical context. To him, activism sometimes becomes more about aesthetics than substance. Wearing the right shirt, posting the right slogan, sharing the right clip. He suggested that without knowledge or historical awareness, activism risks becoming performance rather than principle.
Activism merges with narcissism. Less about the cause and more about me. Look at me. Watch me. And if you like the way I'm fighting injustice, remember to like and subscribe.
Maher's broader critique focused on what he sees as performative behavior amplified by social media. In his view, Some protests appear designed for cameras rather than long-term change. He argued that when activism becomes content, optimized for likes, shares, and viral clips, the original purpose can get lost. The spotlight becomes the reward, while tangible solutions take a back seat.
A sad, confused man even lit himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy, and in his last Facebook post he said, "Many of us like to ask ourselves, what would I do if I was alive during slavery?" Interesting cocktail question, sir, and I guess the right answer is kill myself. But it wouldn't have actually fixed the problem if General Ulysses S. Grant had immolated himself and his last words were, "Hey, Lincoln, are you using that law?"
He also questioned the effectiveness of extreme protest tactics, from dramatic stunts to property damage, asking what measurable change actually follows these actions. Maher's point was that meaningful reform requires strategy, organization, and sustained effort. Spectacle might grab headlines, but policy shifts require groundwork, negotiation, and persistence.
How sad it is that someone would take their own life for any reason, but maybe from now on, before anyone commits an act of civil disobedience, they should ask themselves a few questions, like, is the most important thing in my life something I hadn't heard of 6 months ago? Do I even know? Do I even know what the fuck I'm talking about? Am I really here for the cause, or is the cause here to bring you me?
The discussion extended to whether some protesters fully understand the issues they're advocating for. Maher suggested that, at times, debates rely more on slogans than substance. He argued that when discussions can't move beyond rehearsed talking points, it weakens the credibility of the movement itself. In his framing, informed activism is stronger and more persuasive than emotionally charged rhetoric alone.
Makes you feel good to cosplay as revolutionaries, knock yourself out, burn yourself out. Just don't drag Gaza into it. Also, throwing stuff on paintings is just stupid.
Maher also addressed high-profile acts like vandalizing artwork in the name of awareness. While intended to shock, he questioned whether damaging cultural landmarks advances the stated cause. He framed it as activism becoming spectacle, where attention is achieved, but constructive dialogue is not. According to Maher, raising awareness shouldn't come at the cost of cultural heritage.
Mashed potatoes on a Monet and thinks, he's got a point, I should recycle my cans. Last week, Google employees staged a sit-in to protest their company doing business with Israel. Their T-shirt said, "Googlers against genocide," but they could have just as well said, "Look at me, see me." And Google did see them to the door.
In the end, Maher's takedown wasn't presented as just comedy, but as commentary wrapped in humor. His central argument was that activism rooted in knowledge, consistency, and tangible solutions is far more effective than outrage driven by optics. He suggested that real change requires responsibility and sustained effort, not just viral moments. Whether viewers agree or disagree, his critique sparked debate about what activism should look like, and whether spectacle helps or hurts long-term goals. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button and subscribe for more political commentary and analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.